opinions, New York attitude. You've got a voice. This is Talk Radio 77 WABC. It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, March 28th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds. Today could see a pop-up shower. High 69. Tonight, an overnight shower. Low 59, and then Tuesday it's rain in the morning, clouds in the afternoon, but it's going to be awfully warm. High 76. If you're walking out the door with us right now, 42 and cloudy in Bedford up in Westchester. It's 41 and partly cloudy in Pompton Lakes over in New Jersey, and it's 43 and partly cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Cops search for the man behind a triple stabbing in Brooklyn. TSA workers may get a paycheck today. A kid is grabbed out of a Long Island laundromat. Vice President Vance weighs in on UFOs. And so are those new fare doors really working? All right, let's get into it at 5:01. NYPD investigating triple stabbing apartment complex middle of the day. Yes, it is about 1 o'clock on Van Dyke houses on Dumont Avenue and Powell Streets in Brownsville. Officers responding to a 911 call. They found 3 victims at the scene. 2 women had been stabbed, 1 man, all suffering from wounds. The good news is they're all expected to survive. But, of course, people in this neighborhood freaked out. This is happening middle of the day on a nice day.
I'm going to be a little bit cautious, but see, that happened in the daytime, but you would think these things wouldn't happen, but they would happen anytime. So I would just be a little bit more cautious, more aware, and be more looking around my surroundings.
Emergency crews rushed all 3 to nearby hospitals. They all are expected to survive. One was stabbed in the leg, another one stabbed in the hand. Investigators working now to determine if there's a connection between the stabber and all 3 victims. They don't even know that part yet.
This is what goes down here. It's crazy, it's sad, but we need to do something about this.
Yeah, police have made no arrest. They have no motive for the attack. Not too far away, NYPD cops asking for help identifying a man accused in a hate crime targeting a Brooklyn mosque. Investigators say the wanted man threw pages from the Quran on the steps of the Islamic Mission of American Mosque on State Street and then returned later and smeared feces on the front door. Hate Crimes Task Force now investigating. Pictures of that wanted man, you can find them at WABCRadio.com. Former New Jersey Assemblyman Albert Coutinho killed in a fiery crash in Newark early yesterday.
Police say the crash happened along MacArthur Highway near South Street just before 7:30 Sunday morning. The 56-year-old former assemblyman was rushed to the hospital but did not survive. The driver of the other car involved has non-life-threatening injuries. Reaction pouring in from across the Garden State honoring Coutinho. Senator Cory Booker calling him a great New Jersey leader and a dear friend. Newark Mayor Ross Baraka calling Coutinho a pillar of Newark's Portuguese community.
WABC News Time 5:03. Well, this won't come as a surprise to anybody living here in the city. The Big Apple, the most expensive city in the nation to live in.
A smart asset survey looked at the average salary needed to live comfortably in major U.S. cities. And New York came out on top, nearly $159,000 for a single adult and almost $338,000 for a family of 4, just ahead of second place San Jose, California. 3 other California cities, Irvine, Anaheim, and Santa Ana, tied for 3rd. San Antonio, Texas was the cheapest U.S. city, with a single adult needing just $83,000 to live comfortably. I'm Larry Kofsky.
Amazing that we beat out the Silicon Valley. Usually they're top-notch. 5:04, let's go down to Washington. White House border czar Tom Homan says there are plans for paychecks to go out to TSA agents as soon as today or tomorrow amid this partial government shutdown. That is, lawmakers on Capitol Hill remain deadlocked over funding for the Department of Homeland Security.
So, yeah, it's good news because these TSA officers are struggling. They can't feed their families or pay the rent. your heart goes out to them.
It is outrageous. It comes after President Trump on Friday directed the Department of Homeland Security to pay TSA agents even as other DHS staff go without pay during this 45-day shutdown now.
I talked to Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen yesterday. There is a plan to get these TSA agents pay, hopefully by tomorrow, Tuesday.
President issued a memo saying that he ordered payroll providers to process paychecks as soon as possible. And while we're talking about Tom Homan, the border czar says those ICE agents, they're going to remain at the airports as long as they're needed. He says that agents will have a presence until airports are in what he calls a posture where they can do normal operations.
The president been clear. He wants to secure those airports, especially, as I said earlier, in an increased threat posture. We need to secure those airports. ICE is there to help our brothers and sisters in TSA.
Now, as I mentioned, as of today, the Department of Homeland Security has gone without funding 45 days straight now. That breaks the records that was set last fall when the federal government went unfunded from early October to mid-November.
Look, we're going to continue a nice presence there and until the airports feel like they're in 100%, in a posture where they can do normal operations. If less TS agents come back, that means we'll keep more ICE agents there.
Now, none of this is going to be solved anytime soon because senators are on recess for 2 weeks. Won't be back in D.C. until April 13th. 5:05. President Trump says a deal with Iran could be on the horizon. He talking to reporters aboard Air Force One last night.
I do see a deal in Iran, yeah. Mr. President. Could be soon.
President Trump says he does potentially see a deal coming with Iran, although he failed to get into any sort of specific timetable. He was then asked if he was still considering putting boots on the ground. Here's what he had to say.
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there. We don't need them all because of, the power. Look, I would say we're ahead of schedule on the ballroom. In a much bigger way, we're ahead of schedule with Iran. If you would have said that in 3 days we were going to knock out 158 ships, their entire Navy, which we did, we knocked out their entire Air Force. We knocked out most of their missiles. That's why you see missile attacks when they're down to they're sputtering.
Pentagon reporting, though, they're preparing for weeks of ground operations in Iran. Here's more from Scott Carr.
A report in the Washington Post says ground operations are possible at the oil refineries on Iran's Karg Island or at coastal sites near the Strait of Hormuz and could involve raids by special operations and infantry troops. It's still uncertain if President Trump will sign off on the plans. Karg Island is home to Iran's largest oil terminal, and Iran has been controlling the Strait of Hormuz, blocking shipments of oil in the region. I'm Scott Carr in Washington.
WABC News Time 5:09. Pope Leo again calling for peace in the Middle East during Palm Sunday Mass yesterday. The pontiff prayed for an end to the violence, urged nations to lay down your weapons. The Pope said he prayed especially for Christians and highlighted the suffering caused by the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The Mass marked the start of Holy Week, of course, ahead of Easter with the procession of green palm branches. Gas prices are just a penny shy of $4 as we start the work week.
AAA puts the national average at $3.95 as we start off the week. Drivers in California are paying well above that at $5.76 on average. Drivers are also paying more than $5 a gallon in Hawaii and Washington state. 1 week ago, the national averages were hovering around $3.69 a gallon. A month ago, just before the start of the war in Iran, they were at $2.94. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
President Trump says he's okay now with allowing a Russian oil tanker to deliver relief to Cuba because, as he puts it, they need to survive.
It's a failing country, and they're going to be next. Within a short period of time, it's going to fail. And we will be there to help it out. We'll be there to help our great Cuban Americans out who were thrown out of Cuba. In many cases, their family members were mutilated and killed by Castro. Well, Cuba's going to be next, yeah.
The island's been hit by a number of countrywide blackouts recently after being effectively blocked from receiving oil shipments since January. The president telling reporters aboard Air Force One on his way back to Washington yesterday that he doesn't care where the boatload of oil is coming from, even if it is from Russia. Meanwhile, the Trump administration announcing that they officially launched the White House app now.
The new app is designed to bypass traditional media and give citizens direct, unfiltered access to live stream stream briefings and executive actions, as well as a direct messaging line to President Trump. The app also includes a photo gallery showcasing what it called historic moments in daily White House life, along with a dedicated ICE tip line. The app is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. I'm Lisa Carton.
WABC News Time 511. Over the weekend, you had those No Kings rallies across the country. Some took place here right in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Donald Trump has upset the entire globe, the global economy, the philosophy, the power structure, everything. And I think, it's just unconscionable what he's done.
The No Kings marches were held in all 50 states. Bruce Springsteen performed at the one in Minneapolis.
Trump has messed up so much. We have to start somewhere, so now we have to just get out in the street and say he's got to go. He's got to go.
This man explains why he thought it was important to bring his family from Virginia to D.C. to take part in the rally over the weekend.
I mean, this is a celebration of free speech and free assembly. A range of reasons people are here. The most important thing is that people get out and be a part of what makes our country, unique and special.
WABC News Time 512. The Nation yesterday quietly marking Vietnam War Veterans Day. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth placing a wreath, delivering remarks at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in D.C. yesterday.
This sacred ground, this wall, these names, truly sacred ground.
Hegseth's speech highlighted the sacrifices made by Vietnam vets and the enduring legacy of their service. The annual event, solemn occasion to reflect on the courage, sacrifice of those who served during that war.
We will always remember what they gave, the courage they showed. Those 58,000, the vast majority volunteers. Those Americans recognize that putting the uniform on and fighting for their country was the single most honorable thing they could do, whether the country recognized it or deserved them or not.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saying that the nation must never forget those fallen Americans whose names are etched in granite on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. 513, boy, what's going on with Tiger Woods? His girlfriend, Vanessa Trump, making her first post on Instagram since the golfer was arrested for a DUI following a rollover crash on Friday. Vanessa took to Instagram to share stories about her eldest daughter, Kai Trump, who's a pretty good golfer. Police say Tiger Woods was arrested, charged with DUI after this car crashed in Florida. They were speaking a little more about it over the weekend.
Mr. Woods did a breathalyzer test, blew 000s, but when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI.
The Land Rover ended up on its side. Officers suspect that Woods was impaired by something that includes medication or drugs. He was charged with destruction of property for refusing to submit to a urine test. No significant injuries in the crash. He, in fact, himself crawled out of the vehicle after the crash took place.
They believe from on scene that he was not impaired on alcohol. They believe it was some type of medication or drug. And again, at the jail, he cooperated with the he cooperated with the breathalyzer, and then the urine he wanted no part of. There is a Florida state statute that requires us to keep people incarcerated for at least 8 hours post a DUI arrest. So he's in our jail. He will be there for at least 8 hours. It's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. And when I show you the photos, they kind of speak for themselves. You can see where he clipped the back of the trailer. You can see where he rolled. And then as he decelerates, sliding down on the driver's door of the vehicle, you can see that he slid for a pretty decent space.
Yeah, so hours after Woods' arrest on Friday, his bloodshot eye mugshot, that was released to the press. Images of the billionaire leaving jail office serviced over the weekend. None of it looked pretty. And, of course, you remember in 2021, Woods was seriously injured in a rollover crash that took place in Southern California. In a moment, we'll go down to Florida as they get prepared to launch a spaceship that will go right near the moon, a mission around the moon. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Happy Monday. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Happy Monday. Good morning to you, Noam Layden. Start here on the collegiate hardwood. Elite 8 action over the weekend. Yesterday, 1 seed Michigan running a rough shot over 6 seed Tennessee, 95-62. They'll now meet fellow 1 seed Arizona come Saturday's Final Four in Indianapolis. And then last night, Huge win for UConn over Duke, the 2-seed Huskies, 73-72 over 1-seed Duke after Braylon Mullins sank a desperation three-pointer with 0.4 seconds left to give the Huskies a victory over top-seeded Duke, earning UConn a spot in the Final Four after they rallied from a 19-point first-half deficit. UConn went...
Did you watch this game?
Some of it. I didn't catch the end.
Oh, my
I did not catch the ending.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I can understand why you didn't, because it looked like Duke was just going to roll right over them.
Yeah.
But I turned it on with like 5 minutes left, which was the absolute perfect time to watch the game.
Beautiful.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, Duke just fell apart, and then how they didn't hold on to the ball with 10 seconds left, I don't get it. But.
And then just that miracle three. How
outrageous.
They're going to be thinking about that in UConn for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And leading up to that, the Huskies, they were just 5 of 23 from three-point range, but of course the fifth will go down in UConn basketball history. Head coach Dan Hurley is trying to coach the Huskies to a national title for the third time in 4 seasons, a feat that hasn't been accomplished since UCLA in the 1970s. UConn now faces third-seeded Illinois come Saturday's semifinal in Indianapolis. Rick Pitino has signed a new deal with St. John's. School confirmed yesterday following the Red Storm's Sweet 16 loss to Duke on Friday. The deal includes an additional year through the 2029-30 season and a significant pay increase to make Pitino, the 73-year-old, the Big East's second highest paid coach after the aforementioned Dan Hurley. Head to the professional hardwood. Your final from Brooklyn: Nets beat the Kings 116-99. And out in Oklahoma City, the Knicks, they lost to the Thunder 111-100. Head to the MLB in 10 innings. From Queens, the Mets fell to the Pirates 4-3. They did take 2 of 3 in that opening series, though, over the weekend. So they start the year 2-1. Today, or tonight, I should say, 7:45 p.m., the Mets right back at it. They're out in St. Louis now against the Cardinals. Clay Holmes will get the ball in the opener there. And later on this evening, 9:40 p.m., the Yankees are out in Seattle against the Mariners. And the left-hander Ryan Weathers will make his debut in pinstripes, getting the start in that one. On the ice at MSG, Rangers, they beat the Panthers 3-1. And out in New Jersey, the Devils, they beat the Blackhawks 5-3. Tonight, the Islanders are back in action at home. They'll welcome in the Pittsburgh Penguins at 7 p.m. That is your Sports Know, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 519. Following years of prep and a bunch of launch delays, the crew of the Artemis II says they're ready for their mission around the moon.
The 4 crew members of Artemis II are eager to fly, including Jeremy Hansen, the first moon-bound astronaut from Canada.
I feel like the others. We're well prepared. We're so fortunate to have an extraordinary team behind us that put us in a place where I just feel ready to go.
The 10-day mission around the moon and back is a test flight, and more launch delays could happen. Wednesday's liftoff is currently set for 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time from the Kennedy Space Center. I'm Rory O'Neill.
They're expecting one of the biggest crowds they've had in years for that launch on Wednesday. NASA also introducing a new moon mascot for Artemis II.
Commander Reed Wiseman made the announcement Friday after the crew arrived at the launch and landing facility at the agency's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. He told reporters that NASA received submissions from students all over the world, and the winner is Lucas Yee, a second grader from Mountain View, California. The official zero-gravity indicator mascot, called Rise, is a plush toy featuring a smiling moon wearing a hat adorned with Earth, a galaxy, and rockets. It will fly on the mission to indicate when the crew has entered orbit. I'm Jim Forbes.
And while we're talking things outer space, Vice President J.D. Vance says he is completely obsessed with the UFOs and believes aliens are actually demons.
The vice president discussed his views on UFOs in an interview with conservative commentator Benny Johnson released Friday. The conversation turned to UFOs, and Vance admitted that he was obsessed with them when he first took office, sharing that he believes them to be demons, not aliens, saying, "I think they're demons, but that's a longer discussion." Vance also said, "We're working on it," when asked if he was going to release all of the government's UFO files. I'm Rob Martier.
522 FBI Director Kash Patel's resume, other documents, have been posted online by hackers who claim to have gotten into his personal email account. Here's more from correspondent Nick Harper.
Iran-linked hackers have published photos they claim to have found in FBI Director Kash Patel's personal inbox. The Justice Department has confirmed Patel's email was compromised and have authenticated the material that was published online.
Also posted selfies of Patel as well as photos of him in front of cars, planes, and sniffing a cigar.
It includes selfies and pictures of him in front of cars, aeroplanes, and in one photo, sniffing a cigar.
I think I just said all that. In its post, Handela hack team reportedly said Patel is now among its successfully hacked victims. 522 down to Texas, where a second professor at Texas State University has been fired for something he said. Idris Robinson teaches philosophy. He's suing to get his job back because he claims the comments about the Israel-Palestine conflict that he made were made off campus at a private event.
I don't think he has a case.
Christian Collins is with the Texas Youth Summit, says that freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Robinson gave a talk in favor of Palestine at a book fair in Asheville, North Carolina. A fight broke out there, and there were claims that he incited the violence.
You have freedom of speech, but you are not free from the consequences of the things that you say.
Now, last fall, the school fired another professor for his remarks at a socialist conference. 523. Washington State is filing a lawsuit against Kalshi. The website claims to be a prediction market, but Washington State Attorney General Nick Brown says the company's actions fall under the state's gambling laws.
If it's a bet on a game of chance or a potential future event, then it's gambling.
Brown claims many of the bets can be easily manipulated. He says the company's marketing specifically targets college students.
They claim to offer a financial product, but Kalshi really is just a bookie with a fancy name and huge amount of venture capital behind them.
Yeah, Kalshi's been able to get around some of these betting rules in some states where they can't have online betting to set up these websites, and that's what this Washington State Attorney General is trying to fight back against.
Online prediction platforms like Kalshi are rife with the potential for insider trading and corruption.
And now in 2006, in Washington anyway, the legislature passed a law that prohibits internet gambling. 524, multiple peeled garlic products now being recalled by the Food and Drug Administration.
Tops Friendly Markets issued a recall on Friday for Garland fresh peeled garlic due to improper cooling during transport. Customers are advised to return the peeled garlic with proof of purchase for a full refund. The chain warned in the announcement that eating the recalled garlic may cause health problems or death. Tops also recalled Christopher Ranch peeled garlic due to improper storage. I'm Lisa Carton.
Lawmakers all across the country watching what's happening in the Michigan Senate. They're considering a bill that would require all drivers over the age of 75 to have to undergo a driving skills test, written knowledge test, and a vision exam every 4 years to renew or obtain a driver's license. Now, in the past, lawmakers have been hesitant to take up bills like this because older voters vote. Here's Detroiter Sharon Mann, who has issues with this plan.
I think that if they want to pass that type of bill, it should be passed for everybody. It should not be based on a particular person's age, but maybe on their physical or mental ability.
Yeah, there you go. There's one senior who would have a problem with it. Once they turn 85, if this bill were able to go through, tests would be required every single year.
I don't know that I am too happy about it. It is not the older people that generate a lot of these accidents. It's the younger drivers.
Yeah, so the Michigan traffic crash facts data from 2024, it shows drivers who are at least 65 were involved in 279 deadly crashes and over 11,000 injury crashes. But of course, trying to pass this thing, that will not be easy. Again, older voters, they vote. They come out and vote in droves. Savannah Guthrie, we finally saw the last part of the Savannah Guthrie interview over the weekend where she says she's going to return to the Today Show come April 6th.
I've been so grateful to have this family. I consider this my family, my greater family. And when times are hard, you want to be with your family.
Guthrie's been on leave from the show since February when her 84-year-old mother, Nancy, went missing in a suspected abduction from her Arizona home. So she says she believes coming back is part of her purpose right now.
I think it's part of my purpose right now.
I think I just said that.
I want to smile And when I do, it will be real. And I'm not going to be the same. But maybe it's like that old poem, more beautiful in the broken places.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for her to come back. What, sit home? I mean,
New York opinions, New York attitude. You've got a voice. This is Talk Radio 77 WABC. It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, March 28th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds today. Could see a pop-up shower. The high 69. We like that. And then tonight and overnight, showers, low 59. And then Tuesday, rain in the morning, clouds in the afternoon. The high is going to be 76. If you're walking out the door with us right now, it is 42 and cloudy in Bedford up in Westchester, 41 and partly cloudy in Pompton Lakes over in New Jersey, and it's 43 and partly cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 541. I'm getting a lot of messages that I said today's the 28th of March. It is not. It is the 30th of March, so I apologize. The rest of everything I'm saying is correct, but I got the date wrong. Today is Monday, March 30th. There we go. Holy Week is underway, and that would have meant that yesterday was the 29th, by the way. Holy Week underway, and worshipers around the world taking part in Palm Sunday services here in the city. It was our first chance to see the new Archbishop Ronald Hicks get ready for the big holiday, encouraging reflection on the life and legacy of Jesus and what was his first Palm Sunday leading the Archdiocese of New York.
Jesus really lived and suffered and entered his passion, died on a cross.
As you might guess, there was not a seat available inside St. Patrick's Cathedral for the service. This year's service took on a bit of a different look with the newly installed Archbishop at the helm.
And as we enter into this Holy Week, we will also remember that after his death and being buried, on the third day, he rose again and shares eternal life with all who believe in him through the resurrection.
The crowds outside St. Patrick's Cathedral say they were very inspired by Archbishop Hicks' words.
The traditions have been faulting over the years, and I think it's so important that they come back to what grounds us.
It has a really, really big meaning to me and my family, and I want to make sure that my son follows those traditions as well.
And over in Queens, it was Mayor Mamdani addressing worshipers on Palm Sunday at the Greater Allen AME Cathedral service. He said he was leaning into Jesus and Jesus' will to serve others.
My job as the mayor of this city is to make it easier to have faith. And the way that you make it easier is by doing the work. And so when we think about that work, it is work that must have the people at the heart of it.
Yeah, it's a big time of year, of course, for so many faiths. Then you have Easter Sunday, and this Wednesday night is the first night of Passover. 5:43. Let's go out to Long Island, where an 18-year-old was arrested in Suffolk County yesterday in this just horrific story. He stabbed and killed his grandmother's fiancé in East Northport. This took place early yesterday morning. Detectives say they got a call. It's about 4 a.m. When they arrived at this home on Catherine Street, they found 61-year-old Joseph Falvo had been stabbed several times in the living room of a trailer that they lived in that was parked. They were living in a house, but they had to get work done, so they were living in this trailer. He was found stabbed inside of that.
And I saw him bleeding. Oh my God. I tried the best I could to take care of him.
Yeah, that's the grandmother speaking out yesterday to News 12, said the whole scene was horrific. She didn't give really any clue as to why her 18-year-old grandson would go after her fiancé.
I had nothing but to say about him. He only do good for me. Right now, I feel like I'm lost. I lost more than half of my heart right now.
Yeah, police say they arrested Noel Bermudez Chin. That's the woman's grandson down the road shortly after the incident. Both lived on this trailer after their house caught fire back in December. Police say Noel Bermudez Chin also lived on the property as well. We don't know what was behind this conflict. All we know is this 18-year-old allegedly stabbed her grandmother's, his grandmother's fiance.
Every morning he bring me the gummy bears. Every day. He intoxicated me with gummy bears because he look I love that.
Yeah, so Bermudez Chin's charge now, second-degree murder, will be arraigned this morning in Central Islip Courthouse. 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Allen.
Thank you, Noam Layden. Start here with Elite 8 action on the collegiate hardwood. 1-seed Michigan beaten up on 6-seed Tennessee yesterday, 95-62. So Michigan will meet fellow 1-seed Arizona come Saturday's Final Four in Indianapolis. And the big one last night, 2-seed UConn edging out 1-seed Duke 73-72. And a last-second desperation three-pointer from Braylon Mullins with 0.4 seconds left gave the Huskies a victory over top-seeded Duke, earning UConn a spot in the Final Four after they rallied from a 19-point first-half deficit. UConn went just 5 of 23 from three-point range to fifth. Of course, will be remembered in Connecticut for a long time. Head coach Dan Hurley is trying to coach the Huskies to a national title for the third time in 4 seasons, a feat that hasn't been accomplished since UCLA in the 1970s. UConn now faces third-seeded Illinois in Saturday's semifinal in Indianapolis. Rick Pitino has signed a new deal with St. John's. The school confirmed yesterday, following the Red Storm Sweet 16 loss to Duke on Friday. The deal includes an additional year through the 2029-30 season and a significant pay increase to make Pitino, 73-year-old, the Big East's second highest paid coach after the aforementioned Dan Hurley from UConn.
What a comeback for him, really, right? I mean, he was involved in so much controversy, and that he made this comeback, and that St. John's team, okay, they didn't win, but they came awfully close.
Oh, my God, 80-75. Yeah. Right down to the wire against a good Duke team. But, UConn at the end of the day, I think, proven that they were slightly the better team. And I think, obviously, given yesterday or last night's result over Duke, they are rightfully headed to the Final Four. But yes, congratulations to Pitino. Well-deserved extension. A bit of a pay bump there for the great head coach. Head to the professional hardwood in Brooklyn. Nets beat the Kings 116-99. Now in Oklahoma City, the Knicks lost to the Thunder 111-100. And head to the Diamond in 10 innings from Queens. Mets lost their finale against the Pirates to open the season 4-3 in Game 3 yesterday. Mets do take 2 of 3 over the weekend to win that series. MLB tonight, 7:45 p.m. Mets are in St. Louis now against the Cardinals. Clay Holmes will get the start there. And the Yankees, they open up a series in Seattle against the Mariners. Ryan Weathers, the southpaw, will make his debut in pinstripes there. On the ice at MSG, Rangers beat the Panthers 3-1. And out in New Jersey, the Devils beat the Blackhawks 5-3. Islanders back at it tonight at home. They'll welcome in the Penguins. That is a 7 p.m. start there. That is your Sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time, 5:49. Let's go out to Patchogue, Long Island, where a 38-year-old man arrested over the weekend after he allegedly led a child out the back of a laundromat, took her to a children's play area. Police say the mom was at the Laundry Kingdom on East Main Street with her 2 children, and when she noticed her 4-year-old daughter was missing. This was around noon on Saturday.
I thought it was disgusting that at this day and age, there's people walking around trying to steal children.
Yeah, officers responded to the scene. They reviewed surveillance video, and then they began canvassing the area. While police were searching, the mother actually spotted her own 4-year-old in a library children's play area, and the two thankfully were reunited. Then they actually caught up with the person who allegedly kidnapped her, Carlos Corte. He's from Patchogue. He was near the laundromat, taken into custody.
When you're little like that, you got to keep an eye on them. I lost a grandchild in Macy's once because she was inside where the clothes were. Everybody be careful with your kids and keep a close eye on them, even when they're older.
Yeah, so Corte charged with kidnapping, endangering the welfare of a child. He had an outstanding arrest. He was expected to be arraigned yesterday, but I think it's going to happen today. 5:51, while we're out on Long Island, there is a sigh of relief among many in Suffolk County. The accused Gilgo Beach serial killer, as we told you on Friday, reportedly going to change his plea to guilty. There are several reports that Rex Heuermann will plead guilty to murdering 7 women over some 2 decades when he was expected to be back in court on April 8th. Many in the community where the former Nassau County architect live, actually I should say it's in Nassau County, relieved to hear the news that he's going to plead guilty.
I'm just glad that he's accepting reality, I guess, and not dragging everybody through all this stuff.
His trial expected to begin in September, more than 3 years after his arrest in July of 2023. I should point out the bodies found in Suffolk County, Gilgo Beach, not far from Heuermann's Long Island home. 5:52, the MTA says a pilot program installing those modern fare gates at subway stations is showing some early success in reducing fare evasion, though some riders remain skeptical of the new designs. Installations of these gates, if you haven't seen them yet, they're in a bunch of stations already. They look like glass saloon doors that open and close. So think about a saloon and the way those doors open. That's essentially what these are. So they've been rolled out at 20 stations. There's a bunch of stations that are set to be getting these as well. Some riders not so sure that they like them, but others say they're harder to jump over.
I've seen fewer people jump over the gates. They still can, the youngsters, the teenagers.
It's very much doing its job.
The MTA says the new fare gates reduce subway fare evasion by between 20 to 70% in a pilot program. Now, the data is based on 1 week from 7 stations and considered a sampling. They say eliminating those emergency exit gates, which they've done at these stations, which was a major source of fare evasion, is the key to the reduction. The MTA plans to expand the gates to 150 stations by 2029, despite these mixed reviews from riders, I should say. We've heard from some of these riders who say that if you don't walk fast enough through these swinging glass doors, you can get hit by them and hurt by them.
I'd say it's doing a good job. Unfortunately, there is that risk of, people getting hit by that. I personally almost got hit by that not too long.
I think these take a little bit of extra time because people are afraid of getting knocked in the face like you've seen before. I think it doesn't aid in commuter time.
They're a little harder for me to go through, but I don't really mind it.
Yeah, so the MTA confirmed there have been reports of injuries tied to the new gates. They've been threatened with lawsuits, but none have actually come and gone through with the lawsuit. Transit officials say the gates are being adjusted as needed, will continue to be evaluated. Here's MTA Chair Jan O'Lieber.
That evaluation will take place, and then we will have an economic competitive process to determine who gets the 150 stations. It may be 1, maybe 2, and maybe 3.
Yeah, the MTA plans to expand this program 20 more stations later this year with the goal of installing the modern fare gates at 150 stations by 2029. Let's go over to New Jersey at 5:54. Fire late Saturday night in Fairview seriously injured one person, displaced several others.
It started shortly before midnight in a side-by-side 2-family home on 8th Street, sending up flames and smoke that could be seen for blocks. Officials say 3 people lived on the left side of the home, 4 on the right. There were 4 children among the residents. All got out safely, though one man was taken to the hospital with burns to his arms and legs. Dozens of firefighters from Fairview and neighboring towns responded to battle the flames. The cause is under investigation. I'm Larry Kofsky.
Let's bring it back here into the city. Did you see those roving pothole trucks across the city over the weekend? They were busy. The repeated freeze-thaw cycle has created just these huge, gigantic potholes. I'm sure you've driven through them. Fanning out all over the city. The repairs costing people, thousands of dollars at the end of the day. In Soundview, over the weekend, workers began filling holes along Lafayette Avenue, where drivers say road conditions have been pretty bad the last month or so.
I wear a size 12. You can put your whole feet in them, and some of these potholes can go up to your ankle and etc.
If you don't see it, it may cost you a fortune.
Wait, did he say he wears a size 12? Jeez, that's a big shoe. Department of Transportation says dozens of crews are working citywide to address the issue. In fact, just on Saturday alone, crews repaired more than 8,000 potholes.
I drove past and I see like plenty of cars pull up to the sideway because they just ran into it and the tire just blows. On the highway, there's lots of them. So you got to try to evade them, but it's hard.
Yeah, and then over the weekend, Dino's Wonder Wheel Amusement Park, of course, on Coney Island, officially opening for the season, marked with the annual blessing of the rides. The Vorderis family, which owns and operates the park, led the ceremony. It was filled with dancing, speeches, a blessing of all 22 rides by Pastor Mary Smith of Coney Island's Salton Sea Mission. The first 106 guests got to ride the Wonder Wheel for free to celebrate the 106th year of the park. And there were people who got there hours early just so they could get in for free.
We actually got here at like 7:30. It was so amazing. The drop, we were not ready for that. It was so nice to see the whole park and all the colors and just like hearing the screams and we're back. We're so back.
And then the park opened up. Kids lined up for the Wonder Wheel.
I really like the rides here, and I used to come here when I was a kid, basically, so it's a really long time since I've been here.
I've been coming here since I was in diapers, so, it's like my favorite place to be in the spring, the summer. I like amusement parks, what can I say?
And apparently I haven't been out to Coney Island in a number of years. I used to take the kids when they were little. The Wonder Wheel is $10 a ride now. That seems like a lot to me.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?